The signal came without warning. Across every frequency, across every network, the same voice echoed through the void. Cold and filled with arrogance, the Galactic Council had spoken. They declared that Earth must kneel, or face complete destruction. At first, people thought it was a joke, a strange broadcast from some unknown source, but then, the sky filled with symbols and transmissions in hundreds of alien languages, each carrying the same message. Kneel before the Council of Unity, it said. Submit your planet and your species to galactic law, or be erased. In every city on Earth, screens flickered to life, showing the towering figures of alien envoys, their faces hidden behind golden masks, their voices echoing with synthetic perfection. They called humanity a dangerous, primitive species, and spoke as if mercy itself was an insult. In the streets, silence fell, not from fear, but from disbelief. People looked to the skies, wondering if this was real. Inside the United Earth Command Center, high above the clouds in Geneva Orbital Station, the leaders of Earth gathered, generals, scientists, diplomats, and all frozen as the alien transmission replayed again and again. The oldest among them, Commander Reeves, leaned forward and whispered, "They really think we'll kneel?" No one answered, but the fire in their eyes said enough, far beneath the oceans. In secret bases built during the Silent Century, alarms began to glow red. Systems long dormant came alive with a low hum. Files sealed by the old governments unlocked automatically. On one screen, a name appeared, Project Black Armada. The Council had no idea what those words meant. To them, Earth was a minor world, a backwater civilization barely capable of interstellar travel. They had seen human colonies, weak and scattered, struggling to survive at the edges of mapped space. They did not know what humanity had kept hidden, what it had built in the darkness where their scanners could not reach. As the alien message ended, a chilling silence filled every command center. Then a single female voice cut through the quiet. Calm and steady, Admiral Leon Vega, head of Earth Defense Command, looked around the room and said, "Begin shadow protocols." Everyone froze. Those words had not been spoken in over 300 years. It meant that Earth was at war. While politicians argued and the media panicked, engineers and soldiers moved like ghosts through hidden tunnels. Deep in the Pacific Trench, massive hangar doors opened for the first time in centuries. Ocean water rushed around titanic metal hulls, black as obsidian and silent as the grave. Each ship bore no flag, no markings, only the symbol of an ancient oath, a circle of 12 stars around a single flame. High above Earth's orbit, alien ships appeared like silver arrows. Scanning the planet, they were sure this would be easy. A demonstration of power, nothing more. But far beyond the range of their sensors, near Neptune's orbit, something began to stir. Something older, heavier, built not for exploration but for war, on the moon. Miners stopped their drills as vibrations echoed through the tunnels. An old chamber opened, revealing racks of ancient armor suits marked with the same black insignia. Across Mars, the colonies received coded transmissions. "Stand by," the message said. "The Armada wakes." Back on Earth, the alien envoys sent one final demand. "You have one solar day to respond," they said. "Submit your world, surrender your weapons, and kneel before the Galactic Council or face obliteration." The message ended with a cold silence, a silence that covered the planet like a shroud. But humanity did not kneel in the cities. People gathered in the streets watching the news, listening to leaders who refused to show fear. In factories, workers began assembling new defense systems. In orbit, engineers fueled ancient crafts. The spirit of defiance that had carried humanity through every dark age was rising again. At midnight, Admiral Vega stood on the command deck of the orbital fortress Bastion Zero. She looked out at the stars, at the countless pinpoints of light representing civilizations that now demanded Earth's surrender. She whispered quietly. "They told us to kneel," she said. "Let's show them what happens when humanity stands." Behind her, massive holographic maps lit up with thousands of red dots, alien fleets converging toward Earth. She turned to her officers. "Send the signal," she ordered. In deep space, a coded pulse traveled faster than light, passing through relay stations hidden among asteroids, until it reached the edge of the solar system. There, in the shadow of Neptune, hundreds of dark shapes awakened, engines ignited with a low, thunderous hum that shook the void. The Black Armada was rising again, and for the first time in galactic history, the Predators would learn what it meant to challenge humanity. The ultimatum had arrived, but humanity's answer was already on its way. Beyond Neptune's frozen rings, the darkness was alive, hidden deep inside the void where no light reached. The forgotten fleet began to stir. The Black Armada, the secret that Earth had buried in silence for generations, was waking up. Each ship was a relic of a time when humanity had faced extinction and refused to die. Their hulls were built from alloys no alien scanner could detect. Engines designed by scientists who had sworn that if humanity ever faced humiliation again, the response would shake the stars, and now that promise was being kept. Inside the flagship HNS Obsidian Spear, systems flickered online one after another. Dust drifted through the air as cryo chambers hissed open, releasing the first of the old crew. Men and women who had volunteered centuries ago to sleep until Earth called for them. Their eyes opened, glowing faint blue under the cryolights, minds connecting instantly to the ship's neural core. Commander Arden Kane stepped out first, his uniform black as the hull outside. He looked at the main screen, which showed the distant sun. So much time had passed, and yet the call was the same: defend Earth. He touched the cold steel rail beside him and whispered, "So, it's begun again." The ship's artificial intelligence, Vox 9, responded with a calm, steady tone. Signal authenticated. Earth command requests full mobilization. Threat classification on Omega. Kane nodded slowly. He had trained his entire life for this message. "Wake them all," he said. "Every ship, every captain." The Armada rises one by one. The ships came to life. From the Iron Dawn to the Midnight Halo. From the Ghost Runner to the Leviathan Star. Each vessel carried a legacy of human defiance, no insignia, no name on the hulls. Only the matte black armor that absorbed starlight and whispered fear into the hearts of enemies. On Earth, the alien fleet tightened its orbit. Scanning for signs of resistance, they saw nothing: no warships, no defense grid strong enough to challenge them. To them, Earth was a primitive world filled with frightened creatures. Their sensors did not detect the void just beyond their reach, where death itself was preparing for launch. In the command center of the Obsidian Spear, Kane studied the data streams from Earth Command. He saw the alien ultimatum, their threats, their laughter. He clenched his fists and spoke quietly. "They never learn. They think fear will break us." Behind him, his crew moved quickly, activating systems that had not run in centuries. The hum of reactors grew louder, until it became a heartbeat that filled the entire fleet. "Fleet synchronization complete," Vox 9 announced. "All dreadnoughts online, waiting for orders." Kane turned toward the main viewport. Stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to what was about to unfold. "Transmit message to Earth Command," he said. "Message ready," Vox replied. Kane smiled faintly. "Tell Admiral Vega, the shadows have awakened." Light years away, that simple phrase reached Bastion Zero. When Admiral Vega read it, a slow grin spread across her face. Her answer was short and cold. "Proceed with Ghost Formation Alpha." And the stars trembled again. Back near Neptune, the void rippled as hundreds of cloaked ships moved into position. They aligned in absolute silence, invisible to all known forms of detection. Their systems synchronized with quantum precision. To the galaxy, it was just empty space, but in that darkness, the deadliest fleet ever built by human hands waited. Inside the Iron Dawn, a young officer stared at the data feed. She had read stories about the Black Armada as a child. Legends, she thought. Myths told to scare enemies. Now she was sitting inside one, feeling the deep vibration of ancient engines under her feet. Her commanding officer looked at her and said quietly, "Scared?" She shook her head. "No, sir." "Honored," he smiled. "Good answer, Lieutenant. Remember it? Because soon the galaxy will remember it too." Meanwhile, in orbit around Jupiter, a hidden station came online. Thousands of drones launched silently, creating a web of surveillance. Each drone transmitted data directly to the Armada, mapping enemy movements across the solar system. The aliens had no idea their every move was being tracked, their formation analyzed, their command frequencies mirrored. By dawn on Earth, the fleet was ready. Hundreds of dreadnoughts, carriers, stealth cruisers, and interceptor wings hovered unseen beyond Neptune's orbit. Their energy signatures masked, their weapons primed. Every ship waited for one order, the signal to strike. Commander Kane stood at the bridge window, the blue light of the distant sun reflecting in his eyes. "Vox," he said softly, "show me Earth." The holographic display shimmered, revealing the small blue planet glowing in the dark. fragile yet defiant. He stared for a long moment, then said, "They told us to kneel. They'll soon learn humans don't kneel, they rise." The engines roared to life, their soundless power rippling through space like a storm waiting to break. From Neptune's orbit to the edge of the asteroid belt, the Black Armada took formation, invisible, unstoppable, and waiting for the command that would change the galaxy forever. The shadows had returned, and in those shadows, humanity prepared its silent vengeance. The alien ships arrived like shining daggers cutting through the night sky. Their hulls gleamed with silver light, each one carrying the mark of the Galactic Council. They came not to negotiate but to declare dominance. To them, Earth was already conquered. The humans simply didn't know it yet. Millions of people around the world watched the live transmission as the alien flagship entered Earth's orbit. It was enormous, larger than any human city, its surface glowing with lines of blue energy. Their arrogance filled the airwaves, their message broadcast to every corner of the planet. "This is the will of the Council of Unity," the alien envoy spoke, his voice cold and sharp. "You have been judged unfit to rule yourselves. Surrender your world, your technology, and your species, and kneel before the Council on Earth." No one replied. The envoy waited, expecting fear, begging or panic, but all he received was silence. He turned to his officers, irritated. "These humans are slow to understand," he said. "They think silence will save them." In orbit, alien drones spread out, scanning the atmosphere. Searching for hidden defenses, they found nothing worth noting. No great fleets, no orbital weapons, only faint energy readings that seemed harmless. They laughed among themselves, confident in their databases. Humanity was still listed as a Level 2 species, aggressive but technologically inferior. A planet of farmers and soldiers pretending to be advanced. But the envoy did not know that even now, above the far edge of the solar system, humanity's true power was moving. The Black Armada watched in total silence, invisible to every alien sensor. Their weapons were charged, their systems locked on, but they did not fire, not yet. They waited for one order, one word from Earth Command inside Bastion Zero. Admiral Leon Vega stood before the communication console. The alien envoy's holographic projection flickered before her. He was tall, armored in shining gold, his eyes glowing like fire. "Human," he said with disdain. "Do you comprehend your situation?" Vega said nothing, her face calm, her eyes cold. "Your planet is surrounded," he continued. "You will obey or be destroyed. Your resistance is meaningless." Admiral Vega leaned slightly forward. Her voice was quiet, steady, and every syllable carried centuries of defiance. "Transmission received," she said. The envoy blinked, confused. "That is not an answer," he hissed. But Vega had already turned away. "Stand by for response," she said to her officers, and ended the call. The envoy's bridge filled with laughter. They believed it was over, that the humans had accepted defeat. One of his subcommanders chuckled. "Pathetic creatures. They hide behind words." But something in the envoy's chest twisted with unease. The silence from Earth did not feel like surrender. It felt like waiting. Hours passed, and the alien fleet grew restless. Their sensors continued to show no threats. No energy spikes, no enemy ships, and yet, several officers reported strange interference, brief flashes of static across their long-range scans. The envoy dismissed them. "It is atmospheric noise," he said. "These humans cannot even reach beyond their own moon." But deep inside his mind, a whisper of doubt began to form. Then it happened. A faint pulse passed through space, undetectable to most sensors. But the aliens felt it as a tremor in their systems. The envoy frowned. What was that? His technicians worked furiously, unable to find the source. The pulse came again, stronger this time, and somewhere far beyond Pluto 1,000 black engines roared to life. On the alien flagship, the screens flickered. A small icon appeared on their radar, a single object approaching fast from the edge of the system. One of the officers laughed. "A lone ship. Perhaps they send a messenger to beg for mercy." The envoy smirked. "Bring it on screen." The view zoomed in, showing the shape moving through the darkness. At first it looked like a shadow, a distortion, a ghost. Then, the light from a distant star reflected off its hull, black metal, featureless, endless. The envoy's smirk vanished. "That is no messenger," he whispered. The ship was massive, angular, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Its surface shimmered with faint energy lines that bent gravity around it. What is its signature? The envoy demanded. Unknown, his officer replied. Our scans cannot identify its composition. Its power output exceeds all known limits. Before he could speak again, the alien flagship's sensors went dark. Every system blinked out for half a second. And in that half second, the dreadnought appeared in full view. The HNS Obsidian Spear drifted silently through the void, its cannons slowly aligning, no broadcast, no warning. Only a signal sent directly to Admiral Vega. Target acquired, the message read. The Admiral stood tall, watching from her command screen. The moment had come, she whispered. Let them feel the weight of their arrogance. In orbit, the alien envoy felt his throat tighten. For the first time in his life, he realized what fear was. He turned to his officers. Retreat formation, he began, but the words never finished. The space around Earth shimmered and hundreds of black shapes appeared from the void. The Black Armada had arrived, silent as death. Every alien sensor screamed warnings. Every alarm blared across the fleet. Too late, too slow, too arrogant. The envoy watched helplessly as one by one, his ships vanished in bursts of white light. No explosion, no flame, just disappearance. The humans didn't shout, didn't boast, didn't gloat. They simply acted in Bastion Zero. Admiral Vega stood with calm resolve. Message to all Council forces, she said. Earth does not kneel. Beneath the endless blue of the Pacific Ocean, far below where sunlight could ever reach, the heart of humanity's hidden strength began to stir. Bastion Zero, the command fortress of the Black Armada, pulsed with life for the first time in centuries. Steel corridors echoed with footsteps, alarms hummed softly, and the old war banners of Earth flickered on holographic walls. Every screen glowed with one order. Initiate shadow protocols. Admiral Leon Vega stood at the center of the command platform, her eyes calm and fierce at the same time. Around her, hundreds of officers worked in perfect rhythm, their voices steady, their hands quick. No one panicked, no one hesitated. They all knew this day would come for generations. Their ancestors had prepared for it, and now, the galaxy's arrogance had brought it upon themselves. Report status, Vega said, her voice cutting through the hum of machinery. Power grids online, orbital stations synchronizing. Fleet AI connection stable, replied Commander Hale. Her second in command, the Armada has fully awakened. Ma'am, Vega nodded, her expression unreadable. Then let's remind the galaxy who we are, she said quietly. In the deep ocean, massive gates opened, releasing waves that churned the dark waters into chaos. From beneath the seafloor, titanic shapes began to rise. Black hulls coated with ancient alloys emerged slowly, each ship the size of a mountain. Water cascaded down their armored sides as the surface of the Pacific trembled. Flocks of seabirds scattered into the air as the first ship broke through. HNS Obsidian Spear, the flagship of humanity's vengeance. One by one, the others followed. Iron Dawn, Midnight Halo, Titan's Wrath, and more. They rose in silence, their engines glowing like faint blue stars beneath the waves. To the satellites above, it looked like the ocean itself was giving birth to a new constellation. In orbit, alien fleets watched the readings in disbelief. They saw strange energy surges on Earth, but dismissed them as primitive reactor failures. Their arrogance blinded them to the truth. What they mistook for malfunctions was actually coordination. A pattern, a signal, a heartbeat. The heartbeat of an entire species preparing to rise inside Bastion Zero. Admiral Vega approached the central holographic display. A map of the solar system appeared before her, filled with red markers representing the alien fleet. Blue dots began to appear at the edges. The ships of the Black Armada, returning from the shadows. Each dot pulsed with steady rhythm, one after another, until the entire outer system shimmered with blue light. Fleet synchronization complete, Commander Hale reported. All captains report ready status. Stealth field stable. Weapons hot. Vega looked at the map for a long moment. Then she smiled, a small, dangerous smile. After 3 centuries, humanity speaks again, she whispered. Broadcast on all secure frequencies. A tone echoed across space, reaching every human ship, every outpost, every hidden colony. The message carried no fear, only strength. This is Admiral Vega. Her voice echoed across the stars. Calm and commanding, Earth stands unbroken. The Black Armada has returned, all units. Commence formation Omega. The response came instantly. From Pluto to Mars, from hidden stations on asteroids to deep space refueling points, Ships moved, engines ignited, thrusters flared, and for the first time in living memory, the human fleet stretched across the system like a wall of black fire. In the command room of the HNS Iron Dawn, Captain Ilya Tan watched as thousands of ships formed ranks. His crew stared at the tactical display in awe. "No one will ever call us weak again," he said softly on the screen. Alien ships glowed red, unaware of the storm forming around them. Meanwhile, deep under Bastion Zero, old AI cores reactivated. The digital minds that had once guided Earth's wars reconnected to the fleet. One voice spoke from the speakers, low and steady. "Fleet synchronization optimal, awaiting strategic directive." "Directive?" Vega replied. "Operation Iron Sky," she said. The AI paused for a second, then answered. "Confirmed. Operation Iron Sky initialized." On the surface, lightning crackled across storm clouds as atmospheric defense grids powered up. Massive cannons rose from hidden bunkers in Antarctica. Mountain ranges opened to reveal launch silos. Humanity had hidden its strength so well that even its own people believed the old stories were myths. But myths have a habit of becoming real when the universe forgets their origin. Admiral Vega stood by the viewport, staring at the dark ocean. She could see the faint glow of ship lights below the waves. Her reflection stared back at her, older, scarred, but unbroken. "They demanded that Earth kneel," she murmured. "Well," she said with quiet fury, "we'll teach them to bow instead." The bridge lights dimmed as the final sequence began. "Admiral," Commander Hale said, "the alien fleet is adjusting orbit. They're preparing another broadcast." Vega's eyes hardened. "Let them talk," she said, "while we load the first strike." Her voice carried across the room like thunder. "All hands, prepare to engage." Outside, the sea erupted with light as the first dreadnought engines ignited fully. Columns of vapor burst into the sky as the fleet began to ascend. Thousands of tons of metal rose effortlessly from the ocean. The Black Armada climbed toward the stars, wings of vengeance cutting through the clouds. The awakening was complete, and in the silent void beyond Earth's orbit, every ship turned its cannons toward the invaders. For the first time in history, the galaxy was about to learn what it meant when humanity decided to fight back. The alien fleet hovered above Earth like a wall of light and arrogance. Thousands of ships glittered in orbit, their hulls carved with gold and crystal, each one armed to crush entire planets. They thought this would be easy. They believed humanity would surrender in fear. They could not imagine what waited for them in the shadows. At dawn, Earth's sky shimmered as the alien commander gave his final warning. His voice echoed across the globe, cold and absolute. "You were given your chance," he said. "Now, your planet will be an example to the galaxy." Then without hesitation, he gave the order. The aliens fired. From orbit, beams of energy struck the moon, shattering its surface in a blinding flash. Millions on Earth watched in horror as fragments of glowing rock drifted into space. The alien commander smiled proudly, thinking he had broken their spirit. But in Bastion Zero, Admiral Vega only whispered, "Now they've made their mistake." Across the solar system, the order was given, Operation Iron Sky. Phase 1. In the darkness beyond Neptune, hundreds of ships moved at once. Engines ignited with silent fury. Leaving blue trails that bent light itself, the Black Armada surged forward. Cloaked in distortion fields that hid their presence, they accelerated toward Earth's orbit, faster than any alien sensor could track. Inside the HNS Obsidian Spear, Commander Arden Kane stood at the bridge watching the stars blur into streaks. "Target coordinates locked," his helmsman said. Kane nodded slowly. "Fire sequence Alpha." "On my mark." He glanced at the hollow of Earth glowing ahead, then spoke softly. "For every insult they ever gave us, for every drop of blood they made us shed, let this remind them who we are." The alien commander's flagship, the Velrock Dominion, received a sudden surge on its scanners. "Contact detected," one officer shouted. "Sector E47. Unknown signature. Before they could analyze, the void lit up with blue light. A single beam, thin, silent, precise, cut through the darkness. It pierced one of their dreadnoughts cleanly from bow to stern. There was no explosion, only a blinding flash as the ship folded in on itself and vanished. What was that?" The commander roared. No one answered. Because even as he shouted, 3 more ships disappeared. Each erased with surgical precision. No radiation, no debris, only silence. Then the human fleet decloaked one by one. The Black Armada appeared from the void like ghosts, black hulls reflecting nothing, sharp edges outlined only by the faint glow of their thrusters. Hundreds of them surrounded the alien formation in perfect silence. The stars themselves seemed to vanish behind their mass. Every alien ship activated shields and weapons in panic. "Identify yourselves!" the commander screamed into open comms. A single human voice answered. "This is Earth Defense Command," it said, steady and cold. "Stand by for response." Then the sky burned from the obsidian spear. Rail cannons fired slugs at relativistic speed. Each projectile glowed red as it tore through space. Carving through alien shields like paper, explosions rippled across the fleet. Brilliant bursts of light against the black void. The aliens tried to retaliate, unleashing waves of plasma fire. But their targeting systems flickered and failed. Human jammers filled the spectrum. Blinding their sensors, cutting their communications, they were fighting a ghost, a phantom force that struck from nowhere and vanished into shadow. Inside Bastion Zero, Admiral Vega watched the live feed with cold precision. "Status report," she said. 70 enemy ships neutralized. 0 human losses, Commander Hale replied. Vega nodded slowly. "Good," she said. "Proceed to Phase 2. Show them the meaning of mercy denied, above Mars." Human drone swarms launched from hidden bays, tiny but lethal. Each drone carried a payload designed to overload alien shield harmonics. They scattered like fireflies, weaving between enemy cruisers, planting charges within seconds. Entire formations collapsed, drifting helplessly. Panic spread through the alien ranks. Their commander shouted for retreat, but their engines were dead. Their networks jammed, their pride shattered. One officer turned to him, pale and shaking. "They were waiting for us," he whispered. "This was never defense. This was a trap." For the first time in recorded galactic history, a council fleet began to retreat, but humanity was not done. The HNS Iron Dawn and HNS Midnight Halo broke formation, flanking the enemy and cutting off their escape. Their cannons fired in perfect sequence, carving a wall of light that sealed the aliens' fate. Trapped between Earth and the Armada, they had nowhere to go from the command deck. Vega gave one final order. "Broadcast to the entire galaxy," she said. A transmission was sent across every frequency, reaching every world, every empire, every council system. The screen showed Earth glowing behind a wall of black warships. Vega stepped forward, her eyes unblinking. "This is Admiral Leon Vega of Earth," she said, her voice calm as steel. "To those who demanded we kneel, to those who believed we had forgotten how to fight, this is your answer." Behind her, the obsidian spear fired once more. The blast illuminated half the sky. The alien flagship split in two, its debris scattering into the void. Silence followed, total, endless silence, and then, across every world that had once mocked humanity, fear was born. For the galaxy had just seen what it meant when humans fought back. The Black Armada stood unbroken, its ships like shadows against the stars. And somewhere deep in the void, Commander Kane whispered, "The first strike is done. But the war," he said quietly, "has only begun." The news spread faster than light. Across every communication relay, every starport, every council world, the same impossible message repeated again and again. The Black Armada has returned. Entire empires paused, their rulers frozen in disbelief for 10,000 years. The Galactic Council had ruled unchallenged. They believed their power eternal, their fleets invincible, their control absolute. Now, a single species had shattered that illusion. In the burning remains of the Vale Rock Dominion, rescue ships drifted helplessly through debris fields. The survivors spoke in whispers, their voices trembling. "They came out of nothing," one said, "black ships silent, untraceable. They didn't negotiate. They didn't threaten, they just acted," another added. Word by word, fear took root, and fear travels faster than any engine ever built. On the council homeworld of Orion Prime, panic filled the Grand Chamber. Thousands of delegates shouted over one another. "The humans have violated council law," one cried. "They've destroyed a fleet of peacekeepers," another screamed. But deep inside, they all knew it was no longer about law. It was about survival, high above the chaos. The Supreme Speaker stared at a single hologram, the last transmission from the human flagship. Admiral Vega's calm face, her eyes steady, her words echoing, "Earth kneels to no one." Those words played again and again until they no longer sounded like defiance, but destiny. Meanwhile, in the outer sectors, human ships swept through the void like a storm. The Black Armada moved from system to system, destroying military outposts, disabling communication hubs, freeing human colonies once kept under alien rule. They didn't conquer. They liberated everywhere they went. Enslaved miners and broken worlds saw the black insignia of the 12 stars in the flame, and they whispered a new word. Hope Commander Arden Kane led one of the spearhead groups near the Zelrath frontier. The alien overlords there had enslaved human settlers for generations, treating them as disposable labor. When Kane's fleet arrived, the Zelrath High Lord laughed. "You are insects," he said through his translator. "Our defenses will crush you." Kane gave a faint smile. "Then you'll never see the sunrise," he replied. Moments later, his fleet fired. The Zelrath Armada dissolved into fragments before a single human ship even took damage. From orbit, liberated humans watched the skies burn and wept. They sent a message to Earth that simply said, "We're free." In Bastion Zero, Admiral Vega stood before a wall of incoming transmissions. Every channel showed the same sight. Alien ships surrendering, council fleets retreating, entire worlds switching allegiance. Commander Hale approached quietly. "Ma'am," she said, "the council is collapsing. Half their members have broken ranks." Vega didn't smile. She simply nodded. "This isn't victory yet," she said. "It's awakening." Across the galaxy, old grudges resurfaced. Species once silenced by the council rose up. Inspired by the humans' defiance, they tore down statues, overthrew governors, seized chips. The power balance that had lasted for millennia disintegrated overnight. And in every rebellion, one phrase was painted across walls and banners. Earth stood. Still, not all enemies fled in the core rim. The Council Guard gathered their remaining fleets, over 5,000 warships commanded by High Marshal Tavrix. He swore before his generals that he would wipe out the humans completely. "They are chaos," he roared, "and chaos must be burned out." But even as he spoke, his fleets trembled. Half of his ships refused to obey, their crews frightened, their morale shattered by stories of invisible human dreadnoughts that swallowed entire formations. When his fleet reached the Sol border, he found the Black Armada waiting. They did not speak, they did not posture. They simply surrounded him. Hundreds of black ships, silent and still, their guns locked on his flagship. Tavrix shouted, "Do you think you can intimidate me?" Admiral Vega's face appeared on his screen. Calm and expressionless. "No," she said. "I came to finish what you started." The battle that followed lasted only 13 minutes. When it ended, the Council Guard no longer existed, and the stars above Sol burned brighter than ever before. For the first time in recorded history, the Galactic Council was no more. Its palaces lay in ruin. Its fleets were dust, its laws meaningless. From the ashes, a new voice rose, a human voice, carried through every open frequency. "This is Admiral Vega of Earth," it said. "The age of empires is over. The age of respect begins." Across millions of worlds, beings of every kind watched and listened. Some trembled, some cheered, some simply wept, because in that moment, they knew the truth. The overlords had fallen, and humanity, the species once mocked, feared, and forgotten, now stood at the center of the galaxy, unbowed, unbroken, unstoppable. The war was over. Across the stars, the fire had faded, leaving behind quiet skies and drifting wreckage. Worlds once ruled by fear now looked up and saw freedom shining where oppression had stood. And above them all, the Black Armada hung in formation, silent, dark, watching. Admiral Leon Vega stood on the bridge of the HNS Obsidian Spear, her hands clasped behind her back. Around her, the crew worked in hushed awe, their eyes filled with the weight of what they had achieved. No one cheered, no one shouted, they simply breathed. For they knew that today was not victory, and it was justice, ma'am. "Every enemy fleet has gone dark," Commander Hale said quietly. "Confirmed," Vega replied, her voice calm. "Prepare a system-wide broadcast." She turned to the viewport where Earth glowed below, blue and bright, untouched by the chaos that had consumed the galaxy. "This message," she said, "is not for them. It's for everyone else." The transmission began. Across every world, every moon, every space station, screens flickered to life. The image of a woman appeared, her uniform black, her eyes steady, her voice carrying the weight of 1,000 generations. "This is Admiral Leon Vega of Earth," she said. "Not of the Council, not of any empire, but of humanity. The species you told to kneel." Her words echoed through the void, reaching beings who had never seen a human face before. "You demanded submission," she continued. "You threatened destruction, and when we refused, you brought war. But understand this, we did not fight for conquest, we fought for choice. For the right to exist without chains behind her. The Black Armada drifted like a wall of living shadow, their silent presence more powerful than any weapon. We will not rule you, Vega said. We will not enslave you. We will not build another council, but know this. If you raise your hand against the innocent again, the Black Armada will return and the stars themselves will tremble. On distant worlds, alien leaders bowed their heads, some out of fear, others out of respect. In hidden shelters, freed slaves whispered her name. On frontier colonies, children painted the symbol of 12 stars in a single flame, the mark of Earth's defenders. Commander Hale turned toward her admiral, eyes bright. They're listening, she said softly. Vega nodded. Good. They need to? She stepped closer to the console and spoke her final words. Remember this, she said, her voice quiet but unyielding. Earth kneels to no one, not now, not ever. Then the transmission ended, leaving silence across the galaxy. But it was not an empty silence. It was a living one, filled with awe, fear, and new beginnings. Days turned into weeks, and the stories began to spread. They said the humans had ships that could vanish into nothing, that their weapons bent space, that their admirals commanded storms. But the truth was simpler. Humanity had fought because it refused to die on its knees. The Black Armada did not stay to rule after securing peace. The fleet faded back into the void one by one. The dreadnoughts powered down their engines and disappeared beyond the edge of known space. Only their legend remained, whispered by traders, sung by soldiers, taught to children on Earth. Dawn broke across the oceans, sunlight touching the waves that once hid the Armada's cradle. Admiral Vega stood on a quiet shoreline watching the horizon. She closed her eyes and listened. No alarms, no gunfire, just wind and water. Commander Hale approached and asked, "What now, Admiral?" Vega smiled faintly. "Now," she said, "we rebuild, we remember, and we wait." Far above, in the deep void, the obsidian spear drifted silently, its lights dim, its cannons cold, its heart still beating. The galaxy would tell many stories about that ship, some fearful, some reverent, but they would all begin the same way. There was a time when the galaxy ordered Earth to kneel, and humanity answered with the Black Armada. And from that day on, every world remembered that simple truth. Humanity did not kneel, humanity rose.